Hello, Seagulls. It's Thursday, March 11th. Thank you for joining us today. Our guest is Dr. Dane Foust, Vice President of Student Affairs. Thank you, Dane, for being here. First, I'll provide some updates. Although we've seen a slight increase in cases with expanded testing, SU's positivity rate remains around 1%. Thank you for continuing to take precautions to protect your health and the health of others around you. This is especially important with spring break right around the corner. Our abbreviated spring break is almost here. We will not hold classes on Monday and Tuesday next week. That's March 15th and 16th. I encourage students to use those days to rest, catch up on classwork, and maybe have a little physically distanced fun. Students do not have to move out this year. SU residence halls and dining facilities will remain open, but you will need to maintain your COVID-19 testing in order to have access to those facilities. Testing will continue 7 days a week at SU, even during spring break. Students remaining on campus or in Salisbury are strongly encouraged to keep their regular testing appointments. Those who do need to miss their appointments because you'll be out of town should schedule a makeup test on Wednesday or Thursday, March 17th or 18th. The testing site in Holloway Hall will remain open until 7 p.m. on those dates. Makeup appointments for those days will be limited. Check your email for instructions on how to make those appointments. We also have received questions about students who aren't on campus regularly but need to be at SU for midterm exams. To receive campus access, those students should email covidtesting@salisbury.edu at least 3 business days in advance of their exam to schedule a test. Once receiving a negative result, they'll be given a 1-day pass similar to the process for in-person finals last semester. Remember, if you aren't shown as cleared to come to campus in GullNet and have a 1-day pass, your professors should not allow you to attend class, even to take an exam. There have been some changes in state and national guidelines this week. Let's talk about some of them. On Tuesday, Governor Larry Hogan announced the relaxing of several restrictions throughout Maryland, including indoor capacity limits for restaurants and other businesses starting at 5 p.m. Friday, March 12th. That's tomorrow. The state still requires proper face mask use and physical distancing at all indoor public spaces, including shops, restaurants, businesses, and public transit. The order also removes requirements for testing, isolation, and quarantine following out-of-state travel. But those who do travel beyond Maryland and its contiguous states are still encouraged to isolate for up to 14 days, just as a precaution. Governor Hogan also announced that large outdoor venues, including stadiums, may begin operating at increased capacity. We've recently announced an athletic spectator policy for SU. We're still planning to hold virtual spring commencement ceremonies here at SU, but we're also planning an in-person grad walk to honor each graduate. Details of this plan and the confirmation of the plan will be by mid-April. Also this week, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released guidelines for acceptable activities beginning 2 weeks after an individual has received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine or the second dose of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines. This is a welcome step on a path forward to a post-COVID era. Now, one of the most important things our students and employees can do is to fill out our COVID-19 consent form. Just log into GullNet and search for COVID-19. This information will guide us in determining when some restrictions here at SU can be relaxed. It may be a while before vaccines are available to the majority of our campus community, so face masks and physical distancing will remain part of SU's policies for the foreseeable future. Okay, at this time, I would like to turn the briefing over to Vice President Faust. He will talk about the many services and support that SU offers to our students. Dane, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Wight, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. And thank you, students, for your persistence and support as we work through the many issues associated with the pandemic, our operations, our testing, and compliance. It certainly hasn't been easy, but we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, and I ask you to stay focused as we head into the second half of the spring semester. And from my heart, thank you for all that you've done to help make Salisbury University a safe and healthy place. Some of the things to think about as we head into the second part of the semester is be sure to utilize our current resources. Our counseling center, our health center, Center for Student Achievement are great resources, and the staff there really are there to assist you and help you. Additionally, student affairs staff from across the division are available to support you, ranging from staff in housing and residence life, to career services, to disability support services. We cast a wide net of support for our students. So please check us out at the SU website at SU Cares. There is a long list of referral and assistance resources available at the bottom of the page. As you can see from today, the weather is certainly getting warmer and students are wanting to play, both inside and outside. Please don't let down your guard. Even if you were vaccinated, and we're starting to see some people begin to get vaccinated, wear your mask and continue to social distance. And if you drink, be careful. Alcohol and other drugs can cause you to loosen your inhibitions and can make you be unhealthy. And I say that particularly as we head into our spring break week. The Center for Student Involvement and Leadership is working on a plan for clubs and organizations to be able to come together. We've placed a short pause on face-to-face opportunities while we work through some details. Some groups and organizations are meeting right now, but others have been asked to wait for a minute while we try to make it safe and accessible to our students. So please be patient and reach out to Cecil if you have any questions regarding an upcoming event or activity. We want to work with you to make it happen, but we want to do it in a safe manner. And again, I'm excited to see how cooperative our student body has been and look forward to finishing the semester strong. So again, thank you for all you've done, and back to you, Dr. Wight.
Thank you, Dane. We appreciate all that you and your staff have done for our students, especially over the past year. Okay, at this time, I will take any questions that you may have. Please send your questions via email to stayinformed@salisbury.edu. Eli Maudlin, what are people asking about today?
Thanks, Dr. Wight. The first question is actually about vaccines. Do faculty and staff who have received both vaccine shots need to continue to get regularly tested at SU?
The short answer, unfortunately, is yes. We are still learning about the effectiveness of the vaccine in preventing the disease and spreading the disease, although it does seem very effective against severe disease, hospitalization, and death. So for now, mask wearing and physical distancing will still be part of SU's policies.
Thank you. The next question is about mask wearing. This person notes that as the temperature increases, we've noticed students taking advantage of the outdoor areas of campus, and sometimes they're not wearing masks. Are they required to wear masks outdoors? And what would you suggest to a staff or faculty member about reminding students to wear their mask?
Well, the spring weather is here, and lots of people are enjoying the outdoors. Our policy does not require wearing masks outdoors if you are able to maintain the social distancing. But in cases where that's not possible or practical, if people are too close or playing volleyball or something like that, then masks are definitely required even outdoors. If you go past a group of people who should be wearing masks and aren't, I find usually just pointing to your mask and gently asking them to mask up is pretty effective.
Thanks, Dr. Wight. And the next question is about the switch from PCR testing to rapid testing. Why was the weekly test for athletes and other students changed from PCR to rapid? Do we find that the rapid test has a higher rate of false positives?
Actually, what we have found running more than 5,000 rapid antigen tests is that the rapid test is very reliable. And there are almost no false positives from this test. Every time we have a positive result, we make available a PCR test to back it up. And the concordance between those two tests is nearly perfect. Our student athletes, for a while, were getting both tests, and so we were also very convinced that the rapid test was not producing many false negatives. So we have a very high degree of confidence in the test. Some of our student athletes are still taking the PCR test, where others have transitioned to the rapid tests, but we find that both tests are very reliable.
Thank you, Dr. Wight. The next question is another one about vaccines. Do you anticipate the vaccines being a requirement next semester?
The SU does require certain students to have certain types of vaccines, but in all cases where it's a requirement, that requirement is found in state statute. As of right now, there is no state statute for COVID vaccines, and so we strongly encourage people to be vaccinated. There's a lot to be gained by doing it, but it's not a formal requirement.
Thank you, Dr. Wight. And the next question is regarding commencement. Given that vaccines are becoming more available and the Civic Center is turning into a mass vaccination site, what are SU's plans for graduation this semester?
So for our commencement, as I mentioned, we are planning to have a virtual commencement ceremony for all graduates, but, and this will be confirmed in mid-April, we are also planning a grad walk where students will be able to dress up in their caps and gowns, walk across a stage, have their name announced, and have their friends and family, at least some of them, available to participate. And so look for the details and confirmation of that process, the grad walk, in mid-April.
Thank you, Dr. Wight. Those are all the questions for today.
All right, that's great. That wraps up this week's briefing. Please continue to stay safe. And for those enjoying spring break, I hope you will return refreshed and ready for a strong second half of the spring semester. Our next briefing will be next Thursday, March 18th. See you then.